Hello, it's Mike with MatterFix.io, and this is another one in our pro tip series of videos. And today we're going to discuss how to scan in an area where you're having severe Wi-Fi interference, or basically it seems like you can't get any Wi-Fi signal at all. So you're set up and you're scanning, you keep losing connection with your camera, or you get a connection and the transfer time is super slow, but it seems to be in a certain area. If you move the camera outside somewhere and test it, everything works fine, you go back to that area, you're having the issue. That indicates that there's a problem with Wi-Fi congestion or something similar happening in that area. Now, what I'm going to show you today is basically kind of like a MacGyver hack, but it actually works. I've used it before, in particular with a Pro3 camera where I was scanning at a trade show. And I was having that issue. When I looked at the Wi-Fi networks, there was over 200 Wi-Fi networks that were competing in that area that I was scanning from all the equipment that was around there. And so I came up with a way to actually get the Pro3 to function correctly so I could scan the booth that I was there to scan. And just real briefly, for those of you who aren't familiar with MatterFix.io, we are the authorized service center for any out-of-warranty repairs that you need to have done for your Matterport camera. So if your camera was purchased more than a year ago, or if it's been dropped or had some type of physical damage and needs repair, we're the place to send it to. You can go to our website and fill out a form, send in camera for repair, request a label, and we'll get you taken care of. Additionally, we rent the Pro3 camera kits if you want to try the Pro3 out. And we buy and sell new and certified pre-owned cameras. Okay, so let's talk about Wi-Fi congestion. The Matterport Pro2 and the Pro3 cameras both receive or broadcast on the 5 gigahertz spectrum. So when you initiate a scan, it's using that to tell the camera to scan. The camera scans, and then it's sending all the data back to your iPad on that 5 gigahertz spectrum. And if you're at a trade show where there's a whole bunch of Wi-Fi networks, that can cause the issue. If you're in some type of an IT room, there can be different things that are broadcasting on that 5 gigahertz spectrum that can cause an issue. Or there can be a device that's overpowered that shouldn't be emitting that 5 gigahertz spectrum interference, but it does, and it's preventing you from being able to scan. Now, the easiest, most obvious thing is you can try and get a hold of somebody, and if it's one device or a couple devices, get them to temporarily disconnect it while you finish your scan and then reconnect it. But that's not really practical in most cases. So what I'm going to show you is a little hack to, if you got a space and you're having that issue and you really need to get it scanned, it's a fairly simple hack that should get you through the job there. So like I said, what's happening when you have this issue is there's some type of device that's emanating frequency in that 5 gigahertz range, and it's overpowering or blocking out. So what you want to do is you want to try and block out that outside noise so that your capture device can communicate back and forth with the camera without that interference causing the issues. So what I've done typically is you would go to Amazon and purchase what they call Faraday cloth. It's fairly inexpensive. I believe this was 15 bucks or something like that, and it's a whole lot more than you need. But this cloth will block out any outside signal. So something that's inside it won't be interfered with from signals that are coming from the outside. And the whole principle of it is you want to shield your camera with the Faraday cloth and then set it up so that your capture device can have a good connection to the Wi-Fi antennas inside the camera. So to walk you through kind of the basics of what we're going to do, here's a Pro3 camera. Now here's a Pro3 camera without the outside housing on it. And the Pro3 has two Wi-Fi antennas on it. One on the back side where the display panel is right here, and then another one on the front side over top of the lens. The idea is we want to shield that to keep the outside Wi-Fi signals from, or the interfering signals from reaching the camera. And then on the Pro2, its Wi-Fi antenna is here. So we want to position our capture device in that such that it's shielded as best we can using this Faraday cloth. So I'm going to show you how we would set that up. Okay, so first I'm going to show you how I would set it up with the Pro3. First, we're going to put the Faraday cloth on. Got 2 pieces I've cut, and like I said, this is super hacky, but it definitely does work. 2 pieces of cloth and some masking tape. So, like I had said, the Wi-Fi antenna, one of them is here, so we're going to try and block the signal, the interfering signal, as best we can from here. So basically I put that on. You shouldn't have it go over into where the V drive is there. So I got that on. Then I'm going to take 2 pieces of tape here, and I'm going to put one here and put one here. So that's basically protecting that antenna really well there. And then the last thing you want to do, you may not have to do this, but if it's a severe congestion area, you really are probably going to have to put something over the other Wi-Fi antenna, the one that's on the front. So that is there. I'm going to basically put that there, and then I'm going to push that down. I'm going to put that there. So that's flat against, that won't interfere. You won't see anything visually there, and that's covered up. So you've got the Faraday cloth on there, and you're ready to go ahead and do some scanning. And then there's a couple different methods to connect your capture device, which I'm going to show you. Okay, so one way to scan, everything's set up. If you're using an iPad, now the Wi-Fi antennas on the iPad, I believe, are in this area here. You can hold fairly close like this and initiate a scan, and then you're going to have to move around behind the camera as you go. But in most cases, this should provide a clear enough path that your 5 gigahertz signal, transmitting from the camera over to the iPad, is good with interference. Now, if you're in a severely congested area, I'm going to show you another method. Okay, so if you're in a severely congested area and you really need to scan it, what you need to do is you're going to need to switch over to an iPhone. Now, a lot of people scan with iPhone anyway. Once you're comfortable using a Matterport platform, as long as it's a powerful enough iPhone, it'll work fine. And you want to keep in mind that the Wi-Fi antenna on the iPhone is in this area here. So you want to try and match that up with where the antenna is on the camera. And what I've done is I have Velcro on the bottom of the camera here. I put Velcro across my iPhone. Now when I put this iPhone in, the top of the iPhone lines up with where that antenna is. Attach it like that. And so we're good to go. That's lined up. Now in almost any type of, it'll overcome almost any type of congestion. And so you're set up and you just basically scan. The camera stays on there, it's light enough. The phone stays on there, it's light enough, it's not gonna affect it. So that's the solution if you get into a really congested area. You just need to have some of the Faraday cloth and some tape. It's something easy you can keep in your kit, and it'll help you get through those congestion spots. If you do this method where you're Velcroing the iPhone to the back of the camera here, one thing I'll advise is when you're actually pulling it off, depending on how strong your Velcro is, you want to be careful that you don't pull the back plastic plate off of the camera here. That shouldn't happen, but just when you're pulling it off, if you hold on to the plate to make sure it stays in place. Some of the Velcro, like this particular Velcro, is really strong. Some of it's really strong, but that's just an additional tip. Okay, so how would we do it with the Pro 2? Well, we know the Wi-Fi antenna is up there, so you're going to need to put have your capture device back here. So you want to shield that and try and shield a little bit on the front. So I'm going to show you how I would basically wrap that up. I've put a piece of tape across here, And then I'm going to tape up these other corners a little bit. So I'll do like that, do like that, and then you just don't want it coming out in front of where the camera's lenses can see it. So I'm going to put this one basically down here, and we'll put this one down here. And then we'll do that. And then what I would do probably would do that. Like that. There. So that's pretty much how I would wrap it up. And then like with the Pro3, there's a couple techniques. One is you can hold your capture device behind here as you scan, holding it fairly close. You should be okay there. If the congestion isn't too bad, this should work fine. Get you through the job there. If you're not having success with that, then you're going to need to move over to the iPhone. It's light enough that you could Velcro it just in a position. You want it as high as you can get it. Up there, you'd want to Velcro it there, and then you could bring the Faraday cloth down a little bit around it if you needed to, and then, you know, do your scanning with your iPhone. So that's what I found works. So yeah, that's super hacky, but it's actually worked for me. And if you're in a situation where you've got some areas you need to get scanned, where you have some type of RF interference and can't get a good connection, a little bit of that Faraday cloth and some tape, and you can figure something out that should get you through it. So that's got it. Got any questions, anything at all related to Matterport, need help with anything, reach out to us, matterfix.io. You can message us on Facebook, email us, and we've got a phone number on our website. Thanks.